This is the 2024 BMW XM. Is it a great plug-in hybrid performance SUV option? Hey everybody, it's Tom from Vehicle Visionary. I hope you're having a great day. Today I borrowed this XM from a friend of mine, and I really appreciate her kindness and letting me do that so I can tell you all about it. It's a very unique vehicle, and one thing that makes it unique is the fact that it doesn't look like a lot of the other BMW SUV models. There are some similarities on the front end, but that's about it. It's really set apart in a lot of ways. And one thing that's very interesting here, with this particular exterior color, I don't think it's as big of a deal, but you have a ton of gloss black. So if you like gloss black, that's a good thing. If you don't, well, you might just have to learn to live with it if this is something you want. So let's talk about what exactly we have here. When we look at the front end, in fact, let's go around to this side where we have a little bit of shade. We're gonna have plenty of LED lighting, LED headlights. These are projector beam LED headlights, LED daytime running lights. The turn signals are also LED. And you'll have enormous air curtains right here, allowing air to pass through the front end. You can get a good look at the 22-inch wheels through the air curtain, not something you normally get to see as well from this vantage point. But the air flowing through the front end, well, being that this is a hybrid, it's very important to have the best aerodynamics possible. And you'll still have a little bit of that classic BMW look with your kidney grille on the front end here. Now, something that is very different right here, your XM logo, the X and the M logo right there. Normally, when you have an M model, it isn't going to be one solid color like that. It's outlined in gold, but it's black. Something that just separates it apart. It does match up pretty well with what we have with this model. Now, one thing that I think would be nice, this looks really nice here, but notice it's not active. Seems like it should be, just for what we have. But you will have plenty of air flowing in through the grille, the upper grille and the lower grille right there. Everything doing exactly what it needs to do. And I do like the overall design of the hood right here. It looks nice, it looks sporty, it looks high performance, as it should, because this is most certainly a high performance vehicle. Now, you will have your classic BMW logo right here on the front end. That's going to vary a little bit on the rear, something that just sets, again, this model apart from a lot of the other models in the lineup. Obviously, it's going to be all-wheel drive. What about your tire and wheel sizes? Well, the width here is going to be 275 on the front end. Plenty of meat on the ground, a 40 series sidewall, and as I mentioned earlier in the video, wrapped around those 22-inch wheels. Very interesting looking wheel with the overall design and the way that it's machined. Might be a little bit of effort to clean it, but you know what? You can either take the time to do it, it's worth it, or pay somebody to do it for you. And here on the rear, again, we'll find the 22-inch wheels, but the width in this case is going to be 315, and you'll have the 35 series sidewall. And we'll work our way around here. Power adjustable, heated, power folding side view mirrors with the turn signal indicators built in. They need to be gloss black because of how much gloss black is on and around this model. You saw it on the front end, you see it on the surround for the fenders right here. But with this exterior color, I think it actually works really well. A lighter color, I don't know, just something I don't think I'm as crazy about, but that's just my opinion. There again, the logo, we're going to have our charge port here because this is a plug-in hybrid, and here is a tip for you. And this comes directly from the owner. We are already well over 100 degrees, especially with the heat index here in Northwest Louisiana, so it is hot. Yesterday when she got home, it would not take a charge because it was too hot. That was the message she was receiving. She waited a little while, tried again, still wouldn't do it. Had to wait until this morning, and then it took a charge, no issue there. And I don't think that's a big concern for potential buyers because obviously you still have that gas engine under the hood to help make up the difference when you're not driving in EV mode. And with the door handles right here, I like the design that we have right here. It just kind of sets it apart. It matches the overall look of the vehicle itself. And honestly, I like the fact that these are not flush mounted when you close the doors. It just seems to fit right here. I don't know, just my personal opinion on the matter. Gloss black all along the bottom, gloss black surround here with the trim around the windows, and even in this area on the doors onto the rear. It's in quite a few places, even on the top up there. As you can see, I am not necessarily disappointed, but a little surprised that there's not more rear roof spoiler here, but you know, honestly, it works. You get away with it. Not a big deal, I guess, when it's all said and done. But what is interesting, remember I told you earlier, you don't have that BMW logo here on the rear the way you do on the hood. It's back here, it's just in vinyl. Up here on each side of the rear window, it works. But what I think is the coolest thing here is the fact that you have the exhaust the way that you do. Normally, you don't have them sitting on top of each other like that. What do you think about that? Honestly, I think it has a very nice look, gives it an aggressive look. You can tell by that flickering effect that these taillights are LED. They're not really doing that in real time. It's just doing that through the lens of my camera. You see that a lot on YouTube here. A lot of people ask, how do I make my lights do that? Well, you can't. You might even get pulled over if you could, because it looks more police or first responder-like. But a very nice look. It finishes off the vehicle nicely. It matches the rest of the lines quite well. And something I really like, not only with BMWs, but any other model that has it, when you come to open the hood, notice it says ×2 right there. Well, the big advantage to that is that I don't have to spend time hunting for a hood latch to release. I just reach under here and open the hood. Under the hood is quite a bit to talk about, actually. 4.4 twin turbo, 8-cylinder engine. You can see that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 right there, 4 on each side. That tells you it's an 8. It makes a massive 644 horsepower and 590 pounds-feet of torque, mated to an 8-speed automatic transmission. And a lot of bracing here, all throughout the area right here where the engine is, the engine bay. Very interesting, but you have a lot of horsepower and a lot of torque, and when you drop the hammer on this monster, it definitely pins you back in the seat. And when you need to gain access to the gas tank, you're going to push that button right there. We'll go over here and take a look. You have an 18.2 gallon gas tank. In case you're curious about that, you do not have capless fuel fill. For those who don't like that, here's a benefit. You have the, what I call old school gas cap. There's not as many vehicles that have a gas cap that you just screw on and off as we once did. That was all you ever had at one point. And this model does have a 19.2 kilowatt lithium ion battery. You can drive about 31 miles on electric only. And if you want to tow with your XM, you're looking at a capability of 7,200 pounds. That's not too bad. And we'll open up the rear cargo area, a power tailgate, as you can see. Obviously, you have your cargo cover right here and plenty of space within. And we're looking at 33.9 up to 72.3 worth of cargo space in cubic feet. And we'll take a quick look into the back seat area. You can see the nice design with everything. I really like the contrast we have of not just having one solid color with the interior, especially not black. I am not a big fan of all black interiors. You do have plenty of room here with the armrest and a large door bin. Now, something I don't normally get to show, you have a couple of booster seats right here for the two kids that my friend here and her husband have with this model. So there's how they fit in there. They don't have full-size car seats in here, but in case you're a parent and you're wanting to know, well, there you go. So I can't necessarily show you as much as I normally do back here, but we have all the controls here for the air conditioning and air conditioning vents as well, not only in the rear of the center console, but you'll also find those in the door pillars. That is a good thing. But something that you might have noticed I didn't say anything about, there is no panoramic sunroof because that area is actually taken up by a speaker and some very nice looking ambient lighting. There is a lot of ambient lighting through here. BMW doing a great job with their ambient lighting. And we'll also find the fold down armrest right here with the cup holders built in as well. And a quick look through the interior from the driver's seat. as you would expect, you have a lot going on here. Very nice, very high-end, good materials throughout. Something I like here, nothing unusual, but it is something I'd like to see on more vehicles, not even at a high price point, but at a lower price points. Seat memory for the passenger seat. If you have it on the driver's side, you should also have it on the passenger side. And here's a quick look at some of that ambient lighting from this vantage point. And very comfortable seating. You have the bolstering right here for obvious reasons. That's always a good thing. And you do have the thigh extension here. If you want to use that as well, that can be used. And the digital dash. You can see there's LED because you see those lights flickering everywhere. That's, again, not really happening. But we do have all of our steering wheel mounted controls. And depending on what you want to do drive mode wise, obviously you can select all of that. There's a lot going on here and pretty easy to figure out. Now, one thing I like here is that it does look high-end, it looks high-tech, it looks complicated, but at the same time, it's not. A very simple system to use. Now, there is a lot in the infotainment screen as far as what you control from that area. Not necessarily my favorite thing, but that's the way a lot of vehicle makers are going, manufacturers are going. And we'll go into reverse and show you some of the camera views, the overhead views, and all of that. We have plenty of views on and around the vehicle, literally from every potential vantage point. One thing I didn't mention earlier is you also have a front camera view if you want to use that. Didn't talk about that earlier in the video, but that is here. There you go. There's another camera view right there. We've got, like I said, several different views depending on what you need to see and where you need to see. And then when you need to go home, you can go right there and just swipe through. There's a lot going on here. Very easy to deal with. You just have to kind of get used to a few things as far as going into the infotainment screen to make adjustments. A little bit more ambient lighting right here, and you can see some of the more traditional controls right here as far as the knob for the radio. You're going to turn your hazard lights on and off right there. Here's your shifter. Nothing unusual with BMW. Some of your one-touch functions here. I'll just run through that and show you. Now, one thing that is nice here for those who maybe don't want to use the touch screen, you have the dial. You can select and go through some of the one-touch features again right here. If you want to go home, you can do that, and I can just work my way through with that dial. That way I don't necessarily have to use the touch screen. So if you don't want fingerprints on your touch screen, you're a monk-like person, well then there you go. And the Bombay doors here, again, nothing unusual. Room in the center console, a reasonable amount. And here is your upper console area. You can see what you have. Plenty of lighting there, that's for sure. Overall, a very nice interior, but I have to say one thing that is very interesting. There is your typical M logo. I wonder why BMW didn't make that the black letter with the gold trim on it that we see on the exterior. Kind of an interesting touch, but there it is for those of you who maybe want the more traditional look. Okay, we're gonna get out here for a quick test drive and see what it's like to drive this XM. I already know it is very, very fast and definitely easy to get way up on speed, maybe a little quicker than you need to. But when you have an area like this, I like the fact that you can get out and just kind of cruise and go for a while, and you don't have to really worry about too much. You can have a nice, fun, spirited drive. Let me let you listen. Definitely no problems getting up to speed. That's a fact. And let's go ahead and talk about a couple of things I failed to mention earlier in the video, which, first of all, no big surprises here. You have a power adjustable steering wheel, tilt and telescopically adjustable, so you can adjust things however you want. You have your adaptive suspension that's going to help with great handling and a very comfortable ride quality. That shouldn't come as a big surprise, but it is here, it's worth mentioning. And one thing that is definitely here that has to be mentioned, if you are out in a really big, wide open area where you could drive blindfolded and not have any danger of hitting anything, a really large parking lot or something like that, and I put you behind the wheel of this XM, and I said, based on the way the steering feels. What do you think you're driving? Well, I would imagine most people would guess they were in some kind of a high-performance sports car, not really an SUV, because the steering is that tight. Very sports car-like, very responsive to the touch, and you also have four-wheel steering. So a lot of advantages here. That's going to give you that really nice turning radius. But let's do this. There is nobody around, and this is the perfect area to do it. So let's do a little launch real fast and see how that goes. Wow. You wouldn't guess you were in a hybrid of some sort, a plug-in hybrid of some sort with an experience like that. Boy, what fun. It really checks off all the boxes. A comfortable ride quality, very practical at the same time, great handling characteristics when you need to drop the hammer for any reason whatsoever, whether it's just for the fun of it or you're just moving around slower moving traffic, or for some of you Northwest Louisiana drivers, when you're merging onto the interstate where the speed limit is 70 miles an hour, you don't need to be doing 50. Well, you can drop the hammer and make sure you're doing 70 or a little bit above. Just a little public service announcement right there for some of our local drivers and maybe some of the other people who are watching the video who need to know that too. Easy to see out of, I like that. You might wonder about that rear window back there. The angle and the size of the window, not a problem. You can still see very well, absolutely no problem. A very well-rounded vehicle, very practical. You can do some towing with it if you want to. You have plenty of cargo space and plenty of room here. You'd have to be maybe 6'5" or 6'6" to have a hard time adjusting everything here, and maybe not even that would be an issue. I don't know. But somebody who's 6 feet tall, maybe 6'2", 6'3", you can still adjust everything to be very comfortable here. It does have a heated steering wheel, by the way, which just seems so strange to talk about with it being as warm as it is right now. But I tell you what, I really wish I had more time with this XM. A lot of fun to drive, but a very practical daily driver at the same time. Okay, tell me what you think about the 2024 BMW XM. Is it a great performance plug-in hybrid SUV option? Tell me what your thoughts are down in the comments. Always curious to know. I do want to say a special thanks to my friends who loaned me this XM for the day. And a special thanks to each and every one of you for being kind enough to give me the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button. That helps me out a lot. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't done so already. That way you don't miss any future videos. And if you would like to learn about additional vehicles you may wish to consider purchasing, check out the video that's on the screen right now, and I'll see you there.